My project is called Enabling and Sustaining Citizen Involvement, and so it broke into two strands, one of which was the issues that you need to consider in advance and throughout the life of a project in order to make the experience as positive as possible for the people who are involved, who are recruited as citizens rather than as experts or other stakeholders. So it was looking at it very much from the public perspective, and trying to generate some guidance for policymakers around the things that they might want to take into consideration or at least be aware of that might impact on budgets, timing of projects, that kind of thing. And also some guidance for participants. What might you expect? What is a public dialogue project? What impact might it have on you as a consequence of taking part? That was probably the smallest side of the work. The thing that I found most interesting and probably the most challenging was the sustaining involvement. And this was about, what do you do after you've said goodbye to people at the end of a project? About enabling them to build on enthusiasms that they may have generated during the life of a project. What do you need to do anything? Is it government's responsibility to keep people involved in that way? What do you do if people say, I mean, this is a question for Sciencewise, I suppose, if people say, well, I'm really interested in getting involved in this, but it has nothing to do with science. So it's a lot of discussion around what the function of dialogue is in the first place. Is it about empowering citizens? Is it about increasing the scientific literacy of the wider population? The key findings were that we do need to do a lot more about feeding back adequately and well to people who've been involved in science or any kind of dialogue projects. At the moment, I think we're quite poor at it. If people are lucky, they'll get a report that says this is what you said, or this is what everybody who is involved in this project said. Even that doesn't always happen. So I think one of the key findings that's directly relevant to people who are commissioning projects is that you need to build into your budget and into your requirements from the people delivering your project that they have a reconvened group, could be a year after the work has taken place, at which you say, this is what happened to the particular policy area that your project was attached to. It might be that nothing has happened, but you have taken the time to go back to people and say, you know, we talked about it, and this is the sort of conversation we had, so that because people go along thinking, this is really important. They take it very seriously. They think, this is my chance to have a say, or I think it's really, it's very nice of the government to ask me to contribute. People tend to think it's it's good use of public money, probably because they were involved. And I think there's an aspect which is to do with respect for people's time that they've contributed. We need to go back to people, otherwise we'll start building a cynicism. So there's a value in it from that perspective too. In general, people agree with that, which is very good. I had some really useful practical suggestions about other ways in which we can build on the enthusiasm that people develop during dialogue projects. So making closer links between the beacons was one that I will definitely follow up. That was a really, really important one. And also thinking about the local context so if you're doing, for example, work on stem cells, is there a local context? Maybe we should go out and talk to local health practitioners who will know what life is like on the ground. There may be things that you can look into to give it a local character, so that if people do want to carry on having conversations about those issues, they know where to go, they know who to talk to. It may be that you just get involved with your local links health involvement group, but we need to be more canny about what's out there on the ground at a local level that we can signpost people to, and are there ways in which we can build that into projects, the way projects work at a national level, so that it's easy for people to take those opportunities. So I think there are advantages both for the enabling and sustaining involvement work stream, but also for the experts and the work with scientists, because clearly access to scientists is one of the things that people find particularly enjoyable about the Sciencewise funded projects. They really get excited by the science. So linking up more closely with the beacon universities or with local science departments in local universities, and finding ways in which we can just generate opportunities for public and scientists to have chats with each other. It is always worthwhile, because you get people from different backgrounds, people with different objectives, but they're all focused on the same kinds of problems, which means that you get new ways of thinking about the things that you were already thinking about, but also new things to think about. So very valuable.